But what I wanted to train on, which is really some mindset around the evolution of coming from, going from amateur to pro. Sometimes you hear the word amateur and it's like this, it's a label we avoid. And really amateur is really a measurement of skill and the ability to wield those skills and apply them effectively. That's really the application of those skills is what, the degree at which you can apply them effectively is what helps you go from amateur to professional. And so I'm not really like pointing at you and saying you're an amateur. It's just with this process, everyone coming in is. You bring a lot of experience and maybe you're adapting some stuff and your ability to kind of cross this chasm, amateur to professional, can happen faster with the experience you bring to the table. What I wanted to give you is I call it the 3 levels on this journey of developing yourself in any sales process or sales philosophy, but this is mostly a sales thing. But you can see how a lot of this just applies to your developmental journey in many things. So level 1 of your development in as a sales professional, and this is kind of this pendulum cycle. So that's what I'm visually illustrating. So we have this 2 sides of the table, these 2 kind of objective and subjective dynamics to the implementation of a sales process. And so on the left side here, where you really start is working on your mindset. It's like, well, how must I think? Well, we talk about that sales professional's creed, right? That is a mindset, a mentality that, without any problem, there's nothing to solve, therefore nothing to present, right? So we have to uncover real problems. We have present solutions to real problems that they're fully aware of and have an intense desire to solve, because people don't buy things that make sense, right? And so we can't inform people to buying. That's part of that mindset. That's that first part of the level. Then tactical, it's like, oh, the scripts, what do we say on the process? And in the beginning, when we're tactically pushing people through the scripts, we can seem robotic. We're trying to convince people to move forward and go to the next step, or even in the end, convince them to say yes. Maybe because we weren't as developed in our skill and mindset around uncovering this mutual awareness of a problem with the prospect. Not that I just ask questions and I become aware that the prospect has problems, but I ask questions and we engage in a dialogue in such a way that we're both aware. They say, yeah, I do need to do something about this. Like, they're aware, because until they're aware, you presenting the solution is just an idea. But when they are aware of a problem, you present a solution. Well, now there's progress, right? There's something to move towards because they are connected to their need, and their desire is going to drive them towards that solution. And so, in the beginning, you're just laying the foundation, and it's okay. It's okay to run through a Q call and think, man, I was just trying to get to the end of the script. I was just trying to get to the next call. I was thinking that if I could just show them something, we would both be better off. So I was pushing forward. I was pushing my agenda at them. And maybe I came off robotic because I was trying to check off the script like it was a checklist, rather than using it as a framework to orchestrate a conversation that keeps me positioned as a sales professional, really uncovering problems and fully accepting that if there isn't a problem to uncovered, then there's nothing to present. There's nothing to move towards. Therefore, there's nowhere to go from here. And kind of giving myself that threshold, that standard to uphold for progress to occur, in our sales process. And so it's okay. This is natural. You're not doing it wrong if you're feeling robotic. You're not doing it wrong if by the end of the call, a lot of times we'll get on here and maybe some people get up today. I know it happens all the time on case planning, is I come up and I go, where are you at in your process? What problem are you solving? What are we solving for? Why are we solving for it? And, you'll find a lot of people who are newer, they don't have the answer to the question, because their focus was just tactically moving through the process and trying to get enough information to start a forecasting. There's nothing wrong with that. Just knowing where you're at on your journey to developing yourself and saying, okay, great, I got the baseline. So where do I go from here? What is the pendulum swing? What's the evolution? Once you set your baseline, you kind of understand the tactics. You've kind of completed the arc, maybe unsuccessfully. You've had a Q call. You've maybe started a forecaster and kind of started planning the problem. Maybe you've done a presentation and perhaps it hasn't yielded much. But now you have an awareness to the journey that you're the guide, the leader of your prospect through. Well, now you can kind of go to level 2 in this process, right? Which is for that pendulum to skew and focus more and be in balance towards this right side of the table, which instead of just mindset, heart set, instead of like saying, well, this is tactically what I need to do, it's saying, hey, from a place of service, like I have nothing to present to you unless there's a problem to solve. So if it's okay with you, we can just slow down for a second. I know this is a personal matter. I know, sharing your financial details and your plans is kind of a vulnerable thing, but I'm just here to serve you. Right? Really being able to let go of some of the tactical specificity and making sure you hit every aspect of the thing and just coming from a place of service, knowing what your global intention is, global in the entire process is to serve the person and leave them in a better position than you found them, regardless of whether that is pointing them in a different direction or actually implementing one of your strategies, your products with them. Either way, they win. And that's what matters. That's the heart set. That's the strategy. It's this idea that you can be more compelling because you're connected and because you're there, we have a mutual awareness of problem. When we present the solution, it feels like that puzzle piece of relief, right? But you're more focused on story and connectedness, so that you pull people along because they've never felt heard before, right? See, a lot of, in level 1, we're trying to maybe impress them and convey expertise, which there is a facet to that, but it's not what all that matters. And you can do that out of balance and kind of talk at people and push towards people. Whereas over here, the extreme is really just make it all about them and make them feel heard and make them feel cared for. And it's like, I've never dealt with someone like you before. Or maybe just you can almost see them just like sigh relief because of your authenticity. They really know your intention. And in the beginning, the way that they know your intention is that you just come out and say it. I talk about this concept as truth telling, right? It's telling, it's just stating your intention. When you set the agenda, hey, all I'm here to do is to see if I can put you in a better position. To see if I can help you by, either through removing risk from your strategy wherever necessary, or removing taxes whenever possible. Sometimes one, sometimes both, to ultimately do one thing, which is to put you in a better position financially in retirement. That's what I'm here to do. Now, I can't help everyone. I'll be the first one to tell you if I can't help you. But my goal is to at least leave you in a better position, at least with a recommendation of maybe something to focus on, even if it's got nothing to do with me. Does that sound fair? Of course, somebody can say that's like complete authenticity. So then example, Donald here, this was a great discussion last week. I've had 2 level 2 conversations for 1.2 million in AUM and 750,000. Neither have the resolution on availability of funds, but I'm confident we'll move forward when funds are in place, right? And so we just had a completely service-oriented conversation. And then the evolution is when you can balance the leadership, which is to make sure, lead somebody and support them and share the responsibility of helping them make a decision that puts them in a better position with your product or service when it's truly in their best interest. You ultimately strike the balance where the pendulum doesn't really sit to one extreme. It's not pushing them through the process just to get to the next step. And it's not completely all about them and story with no leadership and responsibility from you. The ultimate balance and harmony is when we can have the mindset of what we're here to do, have the tactical soundness in a proven step-by-step process, but be able to come from a place of intention and service while we lead them with our authenticity, right? Where that we wouldn't feel like a robot, we feel like a professional because we're authentic, but process-driven, right? And you can see this all the time, like, been around for a while, like he's a staple in our community, right? If you see him post his juice in school quite often, I mean, he's a great example of this. Mike Milligan is also a great example of this as well, right? It's someone who is very tactically sound, but does everything from a place of service, but never abdicate responsibility. It's this balance. It's that rubber band selling that I talk about. It's getting to the end and saying, it's being able to accept any objection, any resistance that you get, being able to like take it on board and accept it, but not abdicate responsibility in leading people through it. That's what we're really thinking about. It's okay. Some days you're going to kind of skew left. Some days you're going to skew right. And the professionals are going to kind of find the balance in between and stay more centered more often. And then eventually it just becomes that automated response to service and of others, right? And so it's important to zoom out and have this perspective that we're on this journey. You don't start at level 3. You become level 3 by getting tactically sound, realizing it's okay. By getting tactically sound, you're going to, in this qualifying process, you're probably going to come off a bit too qualifying. One of these things, I talk about is like service versus ego. Ego says, I have this thing and you can't have it unless I say so. Service says, I have an incredible opportunity that I've served many with, and I hope I can find a way to add value with it to you as well, right? Ego, you can't have it unless I say so. I'm the gatekeeper. Service, maybe my specialty would be useful for you. I would love to find out, right? And so that's that dance that Joanna just talked about. It's like, yeah, like I'm not outcome dependent. I'm not desperate. I don't need us to do a deal, but I'm not going to allow my detachment from the outcome give me permission to abdicate responsibility from being the leader. And so it's a really important thing. And so as you go through this journey, we have the 3 levels. The one thing that I'll just end on is this concept I talk about called the 2 beliefs. These are the 2 beliefs that you have to be effective, to close more business, to do what, pretty much anyone who's doing this at a very consistently high level, like these beliefs are automatic, but this is the practical path of development. If you want to close, consistently at all, let alone consistently big cases, and you want to become like a top 1% producer. The first belief is belief in what you can offer, right? It's belief in like being an expert, having solutions. So it's around not only the skill set of a proven process, but the products that flow through that process. So it's knowing your product, but it's the delicate dance. Don't think you have to know everything to get started, right? Learning's on the other side of doing. But you always have to be developing yourself to be more valuable to client, to be the person who deserves to, strategically advise them on financial decisions, right? It's product knowledge, it's problem knowledge, it's understanding. Like problem knowledge is like learning about contributions, learning what a TSP is, learning, what are some of the unique things about a 403B, and we teach a lot of that here. But guess what? The internet is vast. ChatGPT is powerful. And then mastering your tools, right? So that's belief in what you can offer. Literally, belief in the message is a very simple way to belief that you have a valuable message to share. And then the second one that's kind of compounded, it's built on the foundation of product expertise, is belief in yourself. Belief that you're the worthy expert, right? The messenger, right? That I am confident that this is the right solution to you, and it's a recommendation that's in your best interest. And so I'm okay with sharing the responsibility of helping you make this decision. Because the opposite of that is to get to the end and thinking that you can inform somebody into buying. Think it's like, if I just give the person enough information, they can have 100% responsibility for this decision to move forward, and you won't close. And the reason you do that, I've seen this with people, is because they don't know why this product is right for them. They just know they can make money from it. They hear a lot of us talk about it and all this stuff, and they hope that the person understands enough so that they can take 100% responsibility to buy. You're not going to close. They need you. They need you to lead them. And so you need to be confident enough in what you're offering, the message, and confident in yourself as like, I did my due diligence. I know this is right for you. I know why it's right for you. I know why I'm recommending it. I know it's going to put you in a better position. And so if there are no other questions, the next step is take an application, move forward. Let's get you approved. Let's get this in place so that you can have the peace that you're better off. You're going to be better off in retirement because your plan has been enhanced. You got a plan in place, right? And so those are 2 beliefs. We always are, January. It's just I'm still mastering this. It never ends. That, excellence is not a destination, it's a pursuit, right? As we gradually make progress, our ideal increases, right? As our vision gets better, we see further and our goals reset. Same is true with us in our development.